television, there's probably more of a market for. Newspapers are struggling right now. But obviously online stuff is a huge... I think the key thing... Are you in college now? No, you're high school. Sophomore in high school. Okay, well, good. You got time. I think the key things, especially at your age right now, is to practice your writing. And whether you're interested in print or whether you're interested in being a reporter on television, writing is critical. And I think, especially people going to TV, a lot of times kind of overlook that and don't really think much about it. But I'm still improving my writing, and being able to find your voice as a writer and be able to write in your voice is a difficult thing. It takes years of practice, frankly. But once you're able to do that, it sort of frees you up as a writer, and it'll also make you unique and different than everybody else who's trying to do what you're trying to do. Increasingly having a unique voice is important, I think, in journalism. So I would just say, keep working at the writing. If you can, do internships, even if you're in high school, at local stations or local papers. Just try to build up experience. And what the great thing about internships is that you get to see a whole range of the business, and there may be aspects of the business that you love that you didn't realize you would like. Like you love being in the edit room, or you want to be a producer, not necessarily someone on camera. Or you want to be on camera and not someone behind the scenes. So I would say internships. And then finally, just never underestimate the value, and this goes for anybody, whether you're a journalist or not, of just out-hustling everybody else, and just out-working everyone else around you. Coming in before everyone does and leaving late. I feel like I only got a job at CNN because I kept volunteering for the shifts that no one else really wanted. I kept working on weekends. I was anchoring 8 hours a day on Saturday, 8 hours a day on Sunday, after having worked all week. And after a while, people started to notice your work ethic and started to notice that you're always there and you're always ready. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Cooper. How are you doing?
Chloe Anderson.
My name is Corey Wilson. I'm in the VCU Mass Communications program, majoring in public relations. Have a piece of paper because I'm so nervous. In your words, how has social media changed journalism and the way we distribute information?
Yeah, social media, as you all know, it's changed everything. Not changed everything, but it's changed things dramatically. What we're seeing right now happen in the Middle East is extraordinary. We're in a country like Libya, for instance, right now. There's this dictator, Muammar Gaddafi, who's been ruling Libya for 41 years. He hasn't allowed any reporters in the country. So all the pictures that are coming out right now are from, folks like you with cell phone cameras or video cameras who are, literally taking pictures and then putting them online. And I led my broadcast last night with cell phone camera images from Libya and also from Bahrain. So we're able to now see stuff that we were never able to see before. You don't need to have a reporter there on the ground. It's good to have so you can get actual accurate information, but in terms of visual images, you can now break the stranglehold that a dictator has on a country. So there's remarkable changes that we're seeing through Facebook. We're seeing protests in Egypt, for instance, that were in the early days and for many years before we even saw the protests, were being organized on Facebook, and we're being organized, protesters in Egypt, we're talking to protesters in Tunisia and protesters in Serbia and other places via Facebook. And I think a lot of the governments in those regions haven't really caught up with how that all works, and so protesters have been able to use that very effectively. We've seen in demonstrations that revolutions, they quickly try to shut down all the internet. Like right now, Libya, they've shut off all the internet. So all you can do is right now try to get stuff on the phone, but they monitor the phone. So it's very dangerous. But it's an exciting time, and no one really knows where journalism is going in terms of social media, and everyone's sort of trying to figure that out.
Hi, my name is Christian Wright. I'm a graduate student in multimedia journalism at VCU. And my question is, can the cable news personality survive the internet age of journalism?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. God, I hope so. But I think there's kind of different trends in cable. There's the pundits, that you see on Fox and MSNBC, who are not necessarily reporters who go out in the field. They're the ones who have very strong opinions and are talking about them, whether they're on the left or the right. And then there's the reporter types who may anchor. Like I consider myself sort of. I'm not a pundit. I'm not trying to express an opinion. I'm trying to base everything on facts and go out and see for myself and go to the front lines of stories. So, can it survive? The internet. I think it can. I think distinctive voices will survive, and putting things in context. The internet is great for raw information, raw video, but it's already changed the way news is told, because a show like mine at 10 o'clock at night, if you're just presenting stuff that people watch online all day, it's not necessarily going to be something that people tune in for. So you have to try to offer something more than that they're getting online. The other thing about the online stuff is ultimately you don't really know what's real and what's not. I mean, there's not great filters at this point for figuring out what's accurate and what's not. Rumors spread online and get picked up and disseminated, and there's no sense of, well, is there a gatekeeper? Somebody actually reported this? Is this just something that's regurgitated from somebody else who's sitting in their living room, blogging something? And so I don't want to sound like I'm, being negative on bloggers, because I'm not, because they play an incredibly important role and have changed things dramatically, and I think it's amazing democratization of information, and we have access to more information than ever before, and more varieties of information perspectives. But I do think it's important to know where the information is coming from, and has it been checked and double checked, and has it been reported? Yep.
Hi, Anderson.
Hey.
My name is Alpha, and I'm from the Henrico Center for Communication. Your job takes you to a lot of places, including some dangerous places. Do you ever have the fear of being captured and held hostage?
Yeah. Being held hostage kidnapping is the one thing that really freaks me out. So I hope never to experience it myself. I was in Egypt just 2 weeks ago and was attacked twice over the course of 2 days. First by a mob of people who attacked myself and my producer and my camera person, and then a mob that attacked my vehicle the following day and broke the windows. So reporters more and more are becoming targets, and we're seeing this repeatedly. I mean, just about every reporter I know who was in Egypt was targeted at one time or another by mobs of people who punched them or beat them. It's something you think about all the time. In a lot of these places, reporters now have security, or if you work for a big network and you're well known, there's security personnel who kind of give advice to reporters in the field. But your job is to be at the front line. Your job is to go where it is dangerous, and so there's always going to be a risk involved. The real danger is being borne more often than not by local reporters who live there and can't leave and don't have security, and who every day are risking their lives to tell stories. And those are the people who are getting jailed and getting killed. Foreign reporters in Egypt were just beat up and roughed up and stabbed. One was stabbed. The Fox crew was really beaten severely. A reporter from CBS News was beaten, sexually assaulted. But it's often the local journalists who bear the real brunt of a state cracking down. But yeah, I mean, you always worry about something like kidnapping. And there, you take some precautions and you try to do the best you can. But it's definitely a fear.
Good afternoon, Anderson. My name is Imani Richardson, and I'm a student in the Center for Communications. And I just wanted to know if there is one story or interview that you've been very eager to cover but couldn't get your hands on.
Let's see. There's places I would like. I'd like to be in Libya right now, reporting on what's happening there. I can't go there because the government won't allow in foreign reporters. So there are places I would like to go and witness what's happening, but governments don't allow you in when they don't want the world to see what's happening. So Libya, for instance, is someplace I'd like to try to be right now. In terms of people I've tried to interview that I haven't been able to, I'm not really all that. I mean, I've done a number of celebrity interviews for 60 Minutes, which I work for CNN and also for 60 Minutes. I just interviewed Lady Gaga, and I interviewed Eminem a couple of months before that, and that's interesting. I tend not to be all that interested in going for a big celebrity interview, but what I found is with the right person, and if they're willing to tell an interesting story, like the Lady Gaga stuff, I thought was really interesting. I mean, she's 24 years old. She's at the top of her game. She's in full control of her career. And she's very impressive in terms of what she's been able to accomplish. She's probably the most well-known entertainer in the world right now. And it's amazing when you consider, 5 years ago, she didn't even exist as Lady Gaga. She was a struggling singer, dropped out of NYU.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give him